Hey guys, Sean here again. Today we have Natalie Hodson back once again. Super excited. And she's going to cover why you should say yes, even if it scares you. Let's go. Welcome to Digital Genius Radio, the #1 podcast focused on guiding you to becoming a certified digital genius. We believe you can have it all by mastering social media paid advertising. We spent the last 3 years studying the most brilliant marketers today and applying their techniques. We've broken free of the 9-to-5 and successfully built a 7-figure online certification platform. From working with hundreds of clients, we found that most are overwhelmed or scared to actually dive into paid advertising. And this podcast is here to give you the cheat codes so you can flourish with your social media channels. Join us and follow along as we continue to learn, apply, and share proven strategies, as well as give you the insights on how to win online with social media paid advertising. And now, here's your hosts, Chris Baden and Sean Malone. But I want to go back and I want to spend a little bit more time on that moment when you were like, do I post this thing about me in my gray sweatshorts or do I not? Like, what were the emotions that were running through your body? Like, how did you, like, I would have almost probably shut down. So, like, what were you feeling? What was the, like...
So I was going to share it like a week earlier, and my little 16-year-old brother was living with me at the time, and I showed it to him, and he was like, do not post that. He was like, you will lose every single one of your followers if you post that. And I was like, but I don't think so. I was like, I think I'm onto something here. Like, I think people want to hear this. And he was like, that's gross. Do not post that, Natalie, you know? And so it kind of like made me feel shy for a little bit. And then I just kept having this feeling like, I just always went back to, I know that if I'm struggling with it, other people probably are too. And so what I did is so here's my other tip, right? Is that oftentimes, if I'm just sitting in front of he never pushed out a baby, two 10-pound babies. If I'm just sitting in front of my computer and like trying to type emotional posts, oftentimes it's hard for me. I get writer's block, or it kind of just doesn't come out the right way. So one of my tips is that, like, in the moment when you're feeling raw emotion, whatever it is, right? Guilt, shame, fear, embarrassment, or even the opposite, joy, happiness. I shorthand write that in my iPhone in my notes section. So that way, when I'm ready to share it with the world, I have the real raw emotion I was feeling in that moment. And it's not like full sentences, it's just jotted notes. And then I turn it into full sentences. So it gives me, it allows me, because here's the thing is that you don't want to share wounds, you want to share scars, right? So if you're in the moment where things are super raw, and if to you still, it's okay to hold on to that for a little bit and share it later. And that's how sometimes things can come off seeming like a hot mess if you're in the middle of it and you haven't worked through it. But every single time I share something vulnerable, I still get scared, even though I know it works, even though I know this formula works. It's scary to me every single time. And usually what happens is I'll write it out and I'll sit there for a minute and I'll be like, should I post this? Should I not? Should I post it? And I always go back to, like, I have this quote. In fact, so one weird thing about me, I don't know if you can see, I have like Post-it notes all over my house, and it's weird, I know. And I just, like, words resonate with me. And so oftentimes I'll look at those Post-it notes. Like, I have one right here that says, like, say yes, figure it out later, put yourself at risk of something extraordinary happening. Don't worry if you don't know how to do it. And if that scares you, even more reason to say yes and get after it. You know, I'll look at stuff like that and I'll be like, okay, just do it. And so usually what I do is I'll post it and then I don't look for a while, and just because I don't know, it's just hard for me. And then I'll come back like 10 or 20 minutes later, and it has never not worked for me. It's never not worked. Every single time it's just like, just tons of comments of people saying, oh my gosh, or I'll get private messages. And I do wholeheartedly believe that's how I built this tribe, this brand of people that love you and trust you. And so then when you launch a product, you have this whole tribe that you've been nurturing, and through your own storytelling. See, and the cool thing is that what I do is kind of a 4-step process. Is I think a lot of times we think with storytelling that you have to tell the sequential order. And I've actually learned that doesn't work as good. I learned that from Russell Brunson, actually, in his soap opera sequences. He says, start with the most drama. And if you look at, like, I don't know, who watches like the The Bachelor or any of those shows on TV. I actually don't even have cable right now, but I used to have this like deal with myself where I would only allow myself to watch The Bachelor if I was on the spin bike I had a spin bike in my living room, which that's crazy too. But, anyways, they always start with the most dramatic episode yet. Right. And so you always want to start with like stuff that is going to bring people in. And so, what I do is I always start my posts with that raw emotion so that like, I remember looking in the mirror and feeling like I didn't even recognize the woman staring back at me anymore, right? Or whatever you're feeling, start with that raw emotion. Then what I do is I go back and I show myself some grace. And like when I'm writing it, I talk about it maybe another time in my life where I had felt similar feelings and emotions. And then I always finish with like step 4 is either how I worked through it, if it was something in the past, or how I'm currently going to work through it right now. And the cool thing about this process, and you have to do that at the end, otherwise it's just this blah of emotions. But if you finish with like, it's like you wrap up the loop, right? You close the loop. And then what it does is you bring people in and they're like, oh my gosh, I relate to that. Like I resonate with that. And then you, by showing yourself grace, you actually give them permission to show themselves grace. And then at the end they say, oh, okay, she worked through this hard stuff and this is how she worked through it. I could do that too. If she did it, so could I, right? And so that's why I think those posts get shared and go viral, is because people relate to it. And then there's a solution at the end. Or even if there's not oftentimes I don't have the answer, right? I don't actually know the answer, but I share what I'm going to try. And that's what people relate to as well.
Thanks for listening to Digital Genius Radio. We'd love it if you could share our podcast with 3 others that you think could get some value from it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. And remember, hit that notifications button so we can alert you for each new episode that comes out. You're on your way. You've gained knowledge and you've gotten smarter. You're becoming a certified digital genius. To continue on the right path, go to challenge.digitalgeniusradio.com and prove you have what it takes. Again, that's challenge.digitalgeniusradio.com. Enter your name and email and get started becoming a master of your own destiny.